Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the GW Panther, the Tier 7 German SPG, based on the Panther hull. It's got a 15cm howitzer and it's capable of doing 600 alpha and penetrating 39mm of armor. This one is located on the south board of Cliff under the command of beatasianoobs. Game on. Well, it's got a narrow arc of, 52 degrees either side of well, not either side, 52 degrees in total, 26 degrees either side of the center line. And you can see that beatasianoobs has got 2 marks of excellence already on the barrel. Now, it's an Arty that never got built because they needed the Panther hulls on Panther tanks. And so they didn't allow the proposers who actually were going to go ahead and build it, Krupp, to actually build any of the Arty. Which is a bit of a pity, really, because they needed Arty a lot, but they just didn't build them. Okay, we've got a couple of enemy tanks there on the west side. We can't really get shots on them, but there is an enemy tank in that spot, and when he fired it in where he thought the Govika was, and he stopped to take a shot here, because the enemy isn't up on the donut yet, so they're not likely to spot him unless they cross the center line. Okay, he's got a couple of tanks headed towards the center line at the moment. Tiger 2 rounds out. I think that might be a bit late. The standard reload for this Arty is 25.89 seconds, but you can see that beatasianoobs has got it down to 20.94, which is actually quite fast for a 15cm howitzer. It also is capable of doing stun because, of course, it's 15 centimeters or above. 7.2 meters on the blast radius, between 10 and 18 seconds worth of stun. Okay, Tiger 2 again. Lining him up. And there you go. Lands just in front of him and tracks him. Now, the trick is actually, if you are learning to play Arty, is to try and stun the enemy tanks or damage them when they're in sight of your teammates, because if you can do that, you get the assistance. And you can see this Tiger, well, he's badly damaged already. He's lost over 1,000, well, just under 1,000 hit points, and now he's going to lose more because he just got tracked out in the open where our teammates can shoot at him. Unfortunately, nobody on our team actually did shoot him when he was tracked, and as a consequence, there was no assist. But we've got a chance to get some more assists. 2 tanks together, rounds out. It tracks the first one, the IS, and we got 191. And we did get stun assist this time because it looks like our own teammate, the Arty, actually fired a round in there just when those guys were immobile. Okay, this Arty was developed between 1943 and 1944. They did build scale models of this Arty, but they didn't build prototypes. It was supposed to start in September of 1943, and the longer barrel actually meant that they could put a higher pressure shell through it, and that meant that they could shoot further. It would have meant that it would have had a lower trajectory, though, and you can see he managed to get 62 hit points off the Turtle 1. Now, the Panther hull actually contains a non-turbocharged engine. All of the Panthers you actually see on the battlefield actually do have the turbocharger, including the Poodle, the Bretagne, the VK3002M, and many of the other tanks you actually see and play in the battle. The Panthers, they've got turbochargers. The GW Panther doesn't have it. They took it off wargaming, which made this thing a lot slower than your standard Panther. It can only do 46 kilometers an hour maximum speed. I'm not sure that the Germans actually would have done that, taken off the turbocharger. I think they would have taken the Panther hull and they would have fitted it with the standard engine. So it's a bit of a disappointment that this Arty can't travel as fast as its teammates in the same vehicle basically can. Of course, it's also got a heavy howitzer on it, which does slow it down a bit. Okay, BK4502 or T29. I'd go for the T29. In fact, I think that's what he's deciding to do. That guy keeps rising up and down that rise and falling back again. Turtles come back, rounds out. Lands in front of him though. It lands short. He's actually firing a fair bit short at the moment. The idea is actually to try and aim for the base of the vehicle. If it goes long, then obviously it's going to hit the top of the vehicle. And if it falls short, it will splash the target. But that's what I try to do. He's going to give it another go. Rounds out and it falls behind. You'll notice something that beatasianoobs doing as well. Every time he fires, he's changing position to avoid counter battery. There's a strong risk that if you stay still too long, then the enemy will try to hit you. And most Arty players will play from near the cap area. They rarely move away, and as a consequence, yes, they tend to get located eventually by the enemy Arty. They'll see the tracers coming out from the same spot every time. So it can actually pay to find a different firing position to go to. Rounds out. That's landed very close to the VK. And he did get some stun assists, but only 2 hit points of it. Okay, that guy, the lure, is a one-shot and he's gone. Yep, taken out from the top of the hill, I believe. The T-44 got him. Okay, he's still focusing on this Turtle 1. Now, there's another thing you should do as an Arty player is to try and spread your shells around as many of the enemy as you can. And there's a reason for this. Obviously, the more enemy tanks you hit, the more chance you've got of getting a Confederate medal. The Confederate medals will increase the amount of credits you end up with at the end of the game. Because, of course, if you get more hits on the enemy than anyone else, or hit more enemy tanks than anyone else, you'll get an achievements award which will increase your total if it's a draw or a loss. So it does pay in the long run to hit as many enemy tanks as you can. He fires to get a splash. Didn't get that one. You might see a lot of Arty players actually sitting there aiming and aiming for ages, but they don't fire. They hold on to their shell, and that's a bit of a mistake. Something that Arty Noobs players actually know what to do. They know to keep their tubes hot, keep the barrels hot by firing and getting a new angle or a new target every time they do. You can hit the same target more than once if you want to, but it does actually pay in the long run to keep those shells pumping out of the vehicle. Some Arty do have a limited number of shells. The Hummel only has 18. If you pick the Hummel with the stock gun, you get a lot more shells. In fact, if I remember correctly, it's 26. I'm verifying that. Even I sometimes have to refer to my notes just to make absolutely certain. 27, I was one out. In actual fact, the Hummel with the stock gun is much better than the Hummel with the top gun. Even though the Hummel with the top gun can fire over the entire range of the map, the stock gun has actually got a much better trajectory. The shells are going up higher and coming down on the enemy, which means if a tank like that Turtle is hiding behind a structure, the shell's coming down on his roof, not on the side of his vehicle. Rounds out again. And he gets another hit, and he's tracked the guy, which makes him an easy kill for that SMV CC67. And the kill shot actually went to the list. So he gets some assist. Okay, next target, T29. Yes, the more shells you fire in a game, because some Arty won't play all their shells in a game, the more shells you fire, the more chance you've got of getting that Confederate medal. Something beatasianoobs did there, I think you may have noticed, was his tracks were going round and he was backed up against the rock. Now that's because he accidentally hit the cruise control and his machine was trying to climb the rock by mistake. And if you hear a roar, a rumble, that normally means that an artillery round's been fired at you by the enemy and it might be landing close. So watch out for that roar, because you'll hear it and you'll know that an artillery round is inbound. Rounds out. He gets a hit on the T-29 216. They're starting to have an effect now. They're 3 up on the enemy. And if you can keep those enemies stunned, then you're obviously going to be helping your teammates. He's almost ready to shoot again. Going after the Lorraine 40 ton. He just took out the Liss. Now, can we hit this Lorraine? Work out. He's turning round. Rounds out. Tracks him. 38 hit points. He burned his repair kit to move again. And that's going to mean he's now vulnerable. Our Govka is actually hiding behind that rock from the enemy Govka. It's a little further up. Okay, he's moved to the spot where he thinks that Govka is. There he is. Okay, we're loaded. Rounds out. And that's another hit. 294. And we got stun assist. And of course, that's helped our teammates. The Lorraine 40 ton goes down. He was taken out by the Govka. It's all coming together now. There's only 2 enemy remaining, an ISU 152 and their Arty, the GW Panther. We're about to put a round into the rear of the ISU. Rounds out. And that's a direct hit. Oh, he died! The Tiger P got him. So we picked up more stun assist there. And now we're just looking for the enemy Arty. We think he might be in this corner. We're looking for the tracer. I thought we just saw it, actually. I think the enemy might have just fired. If he hasn't, we're looking for the bushes. There we go. He's probably around the bushes. There he is. Rounds out. Long flight time. Oh, and he did get some damage and he stunned the guy. And our teammates will probably put him out of his misery whilst he's still stunned. Yes, we got the rest of the hit points of stun assist. Game over. Well, persistence paid off, and it was all coming together for beatasianoobs in the GW Panther. He got an ace tanker out of that game, as well as a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 12, and he got a Confederate as well for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. Just like I said, you pump those rounds out, keep hitting the enemy. It doesn't matter if you don't get kills. What matters is that you are hitting as many enemy tanks as you can so that your teammates can then damage them whilst they're stunned, and then you get the benefit out of that with the stun assist. And he did get that. In that game, he didn't get a single kill, but boy, did he help his teammates to win. Let's have a look at team score. Well, we can see that the highest damage in the game didn't go to beatasianoobs, but it went to one of his teammates. The CS52 Liss got 2,617 hit points of damage. Second highest was the Charioteer, got 2,452. And the third highest damage, that went to beatasianoobs with 2,403. When it came to kills, the high scorer again was that CS52 Liss with 5 kills. 3 kills went to the Lorraine 40 ton, and he was the guy who actually killed the Liss actually in the end. And 2 kills went to the Charioteer, the T44, the Tiger P, and the SDP 57 Govka on his own team. And of course, beatasianoobs didn't get any kills at all. When it came to base XP, though, he's right at the top with 1,421, mostly down to the stun assist he managed to get. 1,081 going to the Tiger P, and they were the only 2 players who managed to make it over 1,000 base, with the third place going to the CS52 Liss with 958. He fired 24 rounds in that game, got 6 direct hits on the enemy, but none of them penetrated. He did get 20 splash, though, as well. 2,403 hit points, all of it done at more than 300 meters. Damaged 9 of the enemy, didn't get any kills, but he got 3,025 hit points of stun assist off 20 stuns, and that means combined damage of 5,400, so it was a very worthwhile game. On a free-to-play account, he made a profit of 35,871 credits from that game, including a personal missions payout of 40,000, and he also took away 2,842 experience points out of it as well. So a solid game. At the start, it wasn't going so well. He wasn't actually picking up a huge amount of stun assist, but persistent pays off, and he kept pumping those rounds in to try and damage the enemy, keep the tubes hot, keep the barrels burning. and keep the shells piling in on the enemy. The more shells you fire, the more chance you've got in the end of getting that Confederate medal. And of course, even if you don't actually win the game, you will do so much damage to the enemy, then it could be that you'll end up either with an ace tanker, or you might even end up with a high caliber if you've done enough damage to the enemy. Hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.